Hi, welcome to Dotto Tech. We have a small business theme on today's show. We are going to look at a few of the tools that enable the small business community to be competitive in a big business world. We will take on a publishing project. In this electronic age, we sometimes forget how valuable paper-based communications can still be. We're also going to look at some of the must-use internet resources. But to begin, what's the most indispensable application for the small business? Well, in my opinion, it's Office. Microsoft Office. The Small Business Edition contains most of the software tools any small business requires. So let's take a quick look at this software. Now, Microsoft Office Small Business Edition contains the basics: Microsoft Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, and Publisher. Let's quickly run through what each of these does. And we'll begin with the workhorse of Office, Microsoft Word, which for a lot of us is our main communications tool. It's a word processor. We use it for writing and creating most of our documents. But it's got a lot of tools beyond just simply writing letters and writing memos. You go into the Insert menu, and here we can look and find that in the reference section, Microsoft Word will automatically do things like creating notes, captions, indexes, and tables. So you can use it for technical documentation. Very powerful publishing. For most of us, the tools area where it has all of the language tools, such as doing word counts, checking your spelling, offering you a thesaurus, that is a tool that I use on a regular basis. Microsoft Word is really the application that most of us spend most of our times in, at least most of us who are very concerned with communication. A whole other group of business professionals are concerned with the numbers. And for them, Microsoft Excel is the number crunching tool of choice. Excel is a spreadsheet, and it's designed for us to put numbers in and to manage those numbers and give us back workable information. And there's a lot of tools that they've built into Excel to really reduce the amount of time that we have to spend setting up the information. For example, it recognizes ranges. What's a range? Months are a range. If you're going to create a spreadsheet, you might have to keep track of expenses monthly. You put in January and February, and I know now that the next one should logically be March. Why should I have to type in March when it's obvious to anybody that the next one should be March? Excel agrees, and watch what happens. We just select the January and February, extend the range, and it knows that the next one's logically going to be March, April, May, etc. It doesn't just work for months, it works for other things. Let's say I'm keeping track of a high school football league and all of the rushing numbers. I can put in game 1, game 2, what's the next logical one? Game 3, of course, so let's highlight, select, and it fills it in correctly. Now, Excel doesn't just do ranges, but it also adds up and averages and does other calculations on the numbers. So let's say we're keeping track of the rushing totals. So in the first game, this person got 89 yards. In the second game, they got 95 yards. Third game, they had a good game, 120 yards. In the fourth game, they got a little dinged up and they only got 56 yards. This is really what Excel excels at. We put in the total, click in the field. Now we use a feature called Auto Sum up here in the toolbar. Just clicking on that, Excel says, what do you want to add up? Logically speaking, it's going to be all of these numbers above. That's exactly what I want to add up, and it puts in the total of 361. When game 5 comes around and I add another 88 yards, the total changes. And it also works for other things besides just adding up numbers, for other functions. Let's say we want to average of each game. We just click in the cell once again. This time, click on Auto Sum, but we don't click directly on it, but on the tab next to it, and choose Average. Tell Excel which games we want to create an average for, and it works out the average yards per carry. Very powerful. Other tools within Microsoft Office include Microsoft PowerPoint, which is used for presentations, for business presentations. We're going to take a look at that a little later this year. Microsoft Outlook, which is our time, contact, and email software, keeps most of us on track. And a little later in the show, we're going to look in depth at Microsoft Publisher. Now, taken individually, each of the Office tools is a pretty powerful and useful application. But when you combine them in the way that Microsoft has, the sum ends up greater than the value of each part. Office modules work together in an integrated way. For instance, when you write an email, Outlook will use Word as a text editor, giving you now a powerful word processor built into your email software. And resources are shared, like spelling, dictionaries, and the thesaurus. Or if you need a chart drawn, you can create the chart in Excel and then present it in Word or in PowerPoint. It's all about getting the job done. And for most of the business community, Office is the preferred method. You can include Google in your web browser's toolbar. Just click on the More button on the Google homepage, and there you will find the Google toolbar. All you have to do is download it, and it installs in Internet Explorer. Once you've installed it, a Google search field is available for you at all times. You just have to click in the field, type in your search, and a new page opens with the search results. We have a little project to do today. Now, with all of the excitement over the web, sometimes plain old desktop publishing gets lost in the hype. I got a real soft spot in my heart for desktop publishing. It's where I began my computer career about 300 years ago. Let's take on a project, a publishing project. Small companies often need brochures describing their business or product, and we'll use that as our project for today. I'm going to use Microsoft Publisher. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you can get Publisher as part of the Microsoft Office Professional and Small Business editions. You can also purchase it as a standalone application. Now, when you fire up Publisher, you're greeted with a screen that helps you choose the type of document that you want to publish. Publisher is designed to help us publish all sorts of business documents. What sorts? Take a look at the templates that they've got. Now, see, Publisher works based mainly on templates. You can also create documents from scratch if you'd like, but it's really designed for the professional who doesn't have all the skills necessary to think about all the graphics and all the layout options that they have for the type of documents they want to create. So they use these templates to allow us to choose one that appeals to us and then use that template as a basis for our document. And take a look at the templates. There are brochure templates. We're going to be using an event brochure later. We'll come back to this. There are business cards if you have to lay out business cards. There are award certificates. Oh, look at all the awards you can win. And just take a look at all the basic types of documents that you can create. It's kind of intimidating thinking that I'm a small business person. I should probably be publishing most of these sorts of documents. I think I don't do half of them. Not just basic publications, also websites. These are very simple websites. You wouldn't use this to create a really elaborate website, but for an idea for your website, it's a great starting place. Here's something useful. Publishing in email. If you're going to send out an email newsletter or a product list, here are some nice templates to make it more graphically appealing. They also have design sets. Design sets give you all the different type of documents related to a certain activity. For instance, if you're involved in a fundraiser, here are all the sorts of different documents that might be required to put together a fundraising event. They also have, if you're really brave, blank publications, which are just basically print layouts that you're going to fill in all of the graphical information in. This isn't for me. I need all the suggestions that I can handle for my project, so I'm going to use one of their templates. Now, for our project today, let's say that we want to put on a seminar, that I'm going to give a seminar on digital photography. So I want to create an event brochure that I can send out to tell people about the event. So I'm going to browse through and go into the brochure area. I've already done this, but you're going to spend some time and find one that appeals to you. This one appeals to me. I like the graphics. I like the look. I've already looked at the template. It works for me, so I'm going to choose it. When I click on it, then Publisher loads all of the graphics, all of the layout information. It automatically puts the right fonts in place so that I can make a document that's going to look something like this when it's finished. And this is now the bones of my brochure. If we look here, we can see that it's got fold lines on it. That's because we're going to print this as a single sheet, and it's going to be folded into brochure form. So with 3 different flaps. We see the outside and the inside flaps here in the bottom. Now, all of these different graphical elements are suggestions that they've put in place, and we're going to go through now and we're going to replace the graphics and add our own text. Some cases you're going to run into a little bit of a roadblock not knowing what you should say. In those cases, they've actually given you suggestions of what you should be writing into the area. Let's begin with the front page because that's always the funnest to begin with. We can zoom in on the page, and there we see the front of our brochure. Now, they say you should put a little graphic right here. I'm going to get rid of that graphic because I'm going to replace it with my own graphic. So I'm going to delete the object. And down here at the bottom, they say you should put the date, time, and the location. I'm going to take that information and actually move it up higher on the page. Because down at the very bottom, I've got a photograph that's going to go in perfectly, I think. So now I'm going to choose Insert, Picture, from File. And in my file, I've got this picture of the star of the show, the speaker extraordinaire, which I'm going to now scale. and then position in the brochure. Now for fine positioning, I can use the arrow keys to just move it a little bit at a time until it's perfectly lined up exactly where I want. And I'm going to go through now and replace the different graphic elements that they have in the brochure and also start to include all of the text. Now we see here they've actually chosen the font for me, so I don't have to make a decision there. I'm terrible at choosing fonts. Put in the title here. It's going to be digital photography. And there we go. And as we work our way through it, we will find suggestions of information that should be put into each place. For example, here on the back panel, it says put your back panel heading. This is where you should provide a description of your special event. And down below it says put in the names of your speakers here. If we go to the inside page, we will see here on the right-hand side, they've suggested putting a map in. So go and create a map and put the map in. You're going to go through now and you're going to populate all of the information in this brochure to complete the project. Personal publishing is a very powerful tool. Most of us know what we want to say, we just need some help structuring the information. The huge number of templates and built-in suggestions really enable us as individuals to produce content that's got real value at the cost that any small business can afford. Now, some tips before we wrap up. First of all, print off your brochure at points where you get stuck for ideas. Seeing it on paper is different than seeing the brochure on the computer screen. So you can mark it up with a pen. Actually, take it away from the computer. Go have a coffee, sit down with a pen, mark it up, and then take it back to your computer and make the changes and additions. And finally, proofread the heck out of the brochure before you consider it complete. Not just yourself, and again, not just on the computer screen. Print it off, check it, have someone else proofread it, have a third person proofread it, fourth, fifth, sixth if they're available. There is no such thing as too many proofreaders. The end result is a document that you can be proud of, one that does the job marketing your product or service, which is something that every small business needs. The second part of our project today involves printing out our brochure. Choosing the right printer in a small business world is an important task. You need a printer that services all of a growing business's concerns. And this is the star of our small office. It is HP's 9130, and yes, it is a serious player. It's actually a multifunction device, a scanner, printer, fax machine. But what makes it ideal for the small office? Well, let's break it down into its components. First of all, as a printer, let's send a document to it to start. As a printer, it is fast, up to 25 pages per minute in draft, black and white mode, and at letter quality, it prints 9 pages per minute. It only slows down marginally for color work as well. 22 pages per minute draft and 8 pages per minute in normal mode. You watch it come, and it just blazes through these documents. Even though it's an inkjet printer, it just flies through it. Take a look. Phing! I could watch fast printers all day. Oh, keep printing that data, keep printing it. Okay, down below, 2 paper trays. So you can have your letterhead or perhaps envelopes in one tray and plain paper, for example, in the second tray. Now you select which tray you want from the printer dialog box before you print. Let me show you that. A lot of people never do this, and I don't care whether you've got a really high advanced printer like this or you've got an entry-level printer. You should always check the properties in the printer dialog box because it tells you a lot of the capabilities of a printer. Here, for example, is where we select the source. Under paper quality, we go source, and there we can choose printing from one tray or another. The second thing that we can do here is in the finishing area, we see that it will actually print on both sides of the page, meaning it's automatically duplexing the pages. Duplexing is printing on both sides of the page so that we don't have to do that old paper reload dance. Do I have it right side up? Do I have it left side up? How am I supposed to do it? Is it printing both? Oh, it can be a real nightmare. And the back of this printer is the duplexing attachment. So it takes the page, feeds it through, stops it, feeds it back through, and prints on the other side. Very nice. Now as a scanner, it is a flatbed scanner, up to 2400 dots per inch by 2400 dots per inch in optical resolution, so this is a very high quality scanner. It also incorporates a document feeder here in the front. The document feeder is especially useful when we're in fax mode because still a lot of communications occur by fax. It has a whole range of advanced fax features, including the ability to send color faxes, do fax broadcasts, and even block junk faxes that are inbound. Let me print off the brochure. We're actually going to print our brochure on a heavy brochure stock so that the ink doesn't bleed through. They're specialty paper to meet most any publishing project. Now check the specialty papers when you've got a project to complete, because choosing the right paper is essential. If you choose the wrong paper, all of the work you did in creating the content can be wasted. Let's go in to the printer dialog box. Now I've loaded my brochure stock into the second tray. So I'm just going to go into my properties, choose tray 2, and then under finishing, I'm going to choose print on both sides, and it's going to do it all for me. I'm brilliant. Now, while it's printing, let me talk about the other key thing that you need to think about in small office printers, and that is, how does it connect to all of the computers in our office? Now, this version has several different ways to connect to computers. I've got it hooked up to the USB port here, as there's a USB connection, which is great for a single computer. There's also a parallel port for that. But more importantly is an Ethernet connection to include it in a network. It also has HP's JetDirect 620N internal print server, which simply means that it can serve an entire network of computers, which is really what the 9130 is designed for. There's also media card slots here so that you can print directly from your digital camera's media card. But this printer is not really designed as a photo printer. HP has other printers that are designed to do photo quality work. This one has excellent output quality, but it's designed as an office printer for office documents. There's 4 ink cartridges. The current photo printers have up to 8 ink cartridges, so you can see the difference. It also works very well as a photocopier in your office, doing collating, double-sided printing, color printing, all of that. And because it has a duty cycle of 10,000 pages per month, it's going to serve the needs of most any business hoping to grow into a large business. Heavy-duty printer, fax, copier, scanner, all in one network device. The 9130 is serious business.
Want more information about the items we highlight on the show? Then make sure you drop by our website at dottotech.com. You'll find details about the products we cover, the latest news in technology, and lots of cool features.
The internet is by far the most amazing technical advance of our generation. In less than 10 years, it's changed the way that we communicate, the way we shop, the way we gather information, even how we entertain ourselves. But by far the most common complaint I hear from people is there's too much information on the web. They can't find the pertinent information that they're interested in. Let me address that as simply as I can. I can sum up my technique for searching the web in a single word: Google. Most of us use Google to search for information on the web, but few of us actually take the time to see just what services are actually at this behemoth web service. So let us take a look. We go to Google, and this is the way most people end up using Google. They go to Google and they go, I'm interested in something, and they type it in. And they go, I hope it's going to come back with some stuff that helps me. They type in fly fishing, and they go, oh my gosh, there's 3 million hits on fly fishing. I hope that on this first page is the stuff I'm looking for, because I'm not looking through 3 million pages. Nor should you look through 3 million pages. You can't just do huge general searches like this and find specific information. To find specific information, you need to use advanced search. Right there, we click on advanced search, and we're brought into an area where we can refine our search to make sure we get the information that we are interested in. You don't know how to use this? Fine. Click on Advanced Search Tips. This might be the best 10 minutes you can spend on the internet. Here, it tells you all the things you need to do to create searches that will find the information that you're interested in. Adding words to make sure that you're getting all of the information. Even exclusionary searches. For instance, if you're interested in bass fishing, but not bass guitars, bass, bass, spelled the same, how does Google know the difference? Simple. Type in bass or bass minus music, and it will bring back just bass sites, not bass sites. Lots of good tips. It won't take you long to go through this, but once you've been through it, you'll find that your hit rate of searching for information that you're interested in or that you're looking for goes way up. Let's talk about another tool they've got at the Google site, which is Google Images. I think it is ideal for school kids. If your kid's doing a project on the Berlin Wall, you go into Google Images and type in Berlin Wall, and it is going to come back with all sorts of images about the Berlin Wall. As a matter of fact, in this case, 10,500 images. If some of these work for your kids or are interesting, you click on it, you get supporting textual information, but you also get to view the full-size image so you find out if this is a resource that's good for you. Very valuable. There's even more at Google. The news area. I don't read a newspaper very often anymore. The regular ongoing news that I get comes to me from news services like the Google site. And one of the reasons that I like it so much is A, they give you a nice bite of the information, so you can actually read the first paragraph to see if you're interested in the story. But the next thing they do is, look, they timestamp the information so you know just how old it is. So you know that you're not reading old news, but you're reading something that in this case came in 40 minutes ago. Now, I don't want you to think for 1 minute, though, that Google is the only resource worth exploring on the net. Other search engines do a comparable job, like Yahoo, which is a directory site, and it does a good job of helping you find information. Alta Vista, which looks very similar to Google and does most of the same things. Ask Jeeves, MSN Search. There are literally dozens of these sites. And special interest sites are also a treasure trove of information. Many people, for example, are interested in finding quality medical information. Well, take a look with me at healthtalk.ca. Here, there are links to all sorts of articles on diabetes, cholesterol, prostate cancer, just to name a few. Very valuable resource here is the drug database. You can look up different drugs. Say you got hay fever, and you've heard that Clarinex would help ease your suffering. Well, you can look here under the C's, and there we have Clarinex. Click on that, and you should find out who should and should not be using this drug, what the side effects may be. There's also a search engine at the site, which is oddly enough powered by Google. So if you need information on chickenpox, type in chickenpox. You'll get back relevant information on chickenpox, not on chicken recipes, for example. Now, you should know that information is power, but this power should not be misused. You're probably not a doctor. Finding medical information on the internet does not make you a doctor, but it does help to inform you on whatever ails you. So use your new knowledge wisely, and if you do have a real medical condition, make sure you consult a physician. If you want to open a link in a new window in Internet Explorer, there are several ways to do it. The easiest is to right-click your mouse on a link, which opens a context-sensitive menu. Or even easier is just hold down the Shift key as you click on a link. That will open the link in a new browser window, and you don't have to leave the page that you're on. Our little desktop publishing project turned out just great. A nice, clean brochure that any small business would be happy to have represent them. Remember, when you're checking for information on the net, to check and recheck that the sources are accurate before you act on anything you find online. Thanks for watching. See you next time.